About that.
Okay, so welcome back to the Northern Nerd Network. My name is Dan Schessel, and on tonight's episode, we have none other than the co-hostess with the mostest, Chelsea Thompson. Say hello.
Hi, guys.
We also have on today's edition of the Nerdcast, we have Wolverine and Jen.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Awesome. So right now at this moment, I have a little child behind me. You were worried about your guys' kids interrupting, but yes, we have
Is Neo
Nehemiah.
trying
Nehemiah doesn't want to
to-
say hi because he had an important part on my weekend here, so I'm gonna just sort of hop into my weekend and how it was this weekend.
Yeah, how was your week? Tell us all about it.
So come here, Nehemiah. Oh. On Saturday, Nehemiah and myself, we went to a podcast meetup down at Variant Edition. Yes. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was my special helper for the day. He got to wear his name tag and everything, right?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, it was pretty good, eh? And he handed out all the cards for me.
Wow.
I had a whole stack of cards with the Northern Nerd Network on it, and he was an amazing helper, and he managed to get all those cards out to all the different podcasters. So
He's pretty great like that. When Trina and I went to Free Comic Book Day at Happy Harbor, he was an interviewer like nobody's business, asking all the questions.
oh yeah, he's really good at that kind of stuff.
That is so cool. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Nehemiah. I'm gonna have to let you go. Okay, can you say goodbye?
Bye.
All right.
Bye, Neo.
So cute.
Good night, bud. All right.
Free labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Put the kids to work.
Well, they're good for something, that's for sure. So Chelsea.
Yeah.
We'll just skip over you actually. I want to. Sorry. We'll go right to Wolverine and Jen. I want to hear about your guys' week. How was your week? You guys had a bunch of stuff that you guys did this weekend.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty geeky week, actually. We started out, there was the Friday night, this Friday, a couple days ago, there was the Star Wars tattoo exhibit down at Shades of Grey Tattoo Parlor.
Mm-hmm.
And we checked that out. They had their grand opening. And if you're sort of into alternative art with a geeky flair, we highly recommend going there and checking their stuff out. They've got an amazing shop. And what do you think of it? Pretty cool?
Yeah, it was
Well,
really cool concept.
Shane was talking about that when he was on the show with us. It's all portraits done in the style of tattoo art of Star Wars characters.
Yeah, so it's like Star Wars
Yeah.
characters and what their tattoos would have looked like, and it's really neat. Like, it's cooler that I didn't understand the concept till we were there, and I could have bought like all of the prints.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
and both of us aren't tattoo people. We have no tattoos or anything like that. But I mean, just to go and appreciate the art, and his shop is really cool too. Even if you weren't there just for the art, he's got a whole ton of stuff there, which is really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Shane, the owner of
Yeah.
Shades of Grey, on the Nerdcast a few weeks back, and he talked about that, and he also was talking about the Edmonton Collector Con, which I believe you guys went to as well.
Yep.
I did. That was on Sunday. It was really good. It's nice and small, which is like you can really browse easily, and lots of different types of vendors. Probably only about 4 people dressed up though.
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
we were the power geeks there. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, we like to go to we try and hit as many geek things as we can, and generally always go in costume. What you call wearing is, mutant costumes.
You
That's
just
what we do.
always look like
I always
this,
wear the hair, and just represent and have fun and just socialize and always support any endeavor we can. But the Collector Con, as you guys know, it's a nice little small venue, and you get to run into a lot of people and shop for comics and toys and collectibles and pretty much everything. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the size and the venue are great because you really can, take your time and talk to the vendors and especially because they may not bring all of their collections or what they have for sale with them. So to be able to take the time to chat with them and find out what they have, and that's nice.
Yeah, we didn't. We bought a little Wolverine stuffed plushie.
I wish we had it to show you. It's so cute.
It's sitting in the car, and we found an artist that had some really unique prints that were really, and we like to collect artwork, so it was really, really good.
We have a lot of Wolverine stuff.
Really?
It's so weird.
No, we don't.
All right, so we'll get back to you guys a little bit later on in this episode, but I want to hear from Chelsea. Chelsea, how was your week?
My week was really good. I finished up a call out an assignment that I had at one school, and today I started a new job at a new school that's like a 15-minute walk from my house. So I'm super excited about that. And spring break is coming up, but before we go on spring break, we've got a couple fun outings coming up. On Friday, I get to go up to Whistler to go skiing, and then we're taking a day trip on the ferry over to Victoria. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like so.
And I start circus classes tomorrow.
Ooh. Are you going to do more clowning? Is that?
No clown. So this is all silks and trapeze and hoop and tumbling and trampoline and all that kind of stuff. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, I've got 6 classes, 2 classes each night for an hour each class.
That'll go really well with your sword play that you like to do.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I've taken circus classes before. I took circus classes before about 10 years ago in Edmonton. There's a great circus school called Firefly Theater, and they do circus classes and circus and physical theater pieces. They're really awesome. If you haven't heard of them, you should check them out. Not even if you're interested in classes, they always put on great shows as well. But I took some circus classes with them, and they're just so much fun, and they're an amazing workout. They totally kick your butt without you even realizing it until you get home, and you're like, oh dear God, what just happened to me? But while you're in it, it's like so much fun you don't even realize you're getting your butt handed to you. It's awesome.
That's amazing. Huh. All right, so I'm going to just finish off my little bit of weekend here. On Saturday, I managed to get down to Avalon Nights for their RPG day.
Right. How was that?
I was invited down to Avalon Nights to go and be a part of their live stream that they were doing. So they were running a D&D campaign, so I got to just kind of sit down and be a part of that. Was a lot of fun. If you go to I believe if you go back in our episode list, we had the guys who play board games on Twitch. Mm-hmm. I believe that was our board game issue. So if you go back onto that, that's the channel I was on. So I was on their Twitch channel. So if you can go on there and check that out, and it was a lot of fun. And then we came back home, and that night we had some people over for our first Star Wars RPG. So there was a lot of RPG going on Saturday.
So at RPG Day at Avalon Nights, what RPG were you playing? Or RPGs were you playing?
It was I played D&D 5th edition.
D&D? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that was my first time, by the way. I didn't do as bad as I thought I would.
What character did you make?
I didn't make any character. They gave me a character.
Just a pre-assigned one?
It was a pre-assigned one, but I got to pick out of a stack. So I had a little...
So what did you end up with?
I had a rogue that was a halfling rogue. Huh. And at one point during the campaign, I ended up pretending that I was an ogre in front of some bugbear, and I sold it pretty good. So that's a pretty tough sell, let me tell you.
Now, were your dice rolling skills improved this time around?
It wasn't that bad this time. This one was okay. I've had notoriously bad dice, but I could tell you when I was doing the whole day, actually I had really good dice. But when I was doing the campaign here at the house with the guys, I was rolling everything. Like as the GM, I hit every single time, which I didn't want to happen too much. And we had one fellow, a friend of ours, Ryan. who comes over, and he's notoriously worse for dice rolling, and he really proved it. I would give him a giant fist of dice for him to succeed against a really small pool of dice to go against him, and he would still fail. I could not believe how bad his rolls were. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun trying out some of these RPGs. So yeah, that was my weekend. It was full of role playing and podcast meetup on Sunday, sorry, with Karen Unland.
What other podcasts were there?
A friend of ours, Ben Yendall from The Hiding Way, who is also a friend of the network, was there. And I also got the chance to meet Press Start to Join, who is going to be on a future episode down the line here. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
All the networking. Nerds unite. Woohoo!
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and especially Nehemiah. He was perfect the whole night.
Oh, that's so cool. You're training him young. That's good.
Yeah, he does a lot of our interviews when we do like the Edmonton Expo and stuff like that. Like, he's so much better at it than I am.
Well, you can't go wrong when you're little and cute, you know. He's just,
yeah,
everybody's going to answer your questions when you're adorable.
Yeah, I know.
That's so neat.
Yes. So, let's just continue on with our news items.
We've actually got some pretty fun ones tonight. At least I think they're fun, but I usually think all the news items are fun because I'm a weirdo like that. But these ones are actually really fun. So the first one, there is an architect / cabinet maker / interior designer who has started a company to create secret passageways, rooms, trapdoors, etc. in your house. So you can come to him if you've got like a wasted space under the stairs or a this or a that, and he will custom design a like hidden bookcase that opens up into a secret room or and like build it into your house for you. So the link that we've got posted on our Facebook page links to another Facebook page that has a video by Insider Design that shows you some of the designs that this guy has come up with for secret rooms and whatnot, and they're pretty sweet. I think my favorite might be the like hidden room behind a bookcase, because that's
just classic.
Yeah.
Although trapdoor is pretty classic
Trapdoor,
too. I
yeah.
know, it's like there's somebody comes to your house and you're just kind of a little frustrated. You're like, oh, just stand over there. Oh, trapdoor.
I would literally have that at my front door.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
For all the marketers that keep knocking on my door, even though we have the sign up on there.
I say no solicitors and I mean it. Oh.
Well, they've got, in the video, they show one that's like in a kitchen counter, and I don't know what it traps like down into, but when
I
it
think
closes,
it just switches
it's
out
like
the counter.
I
it's
think the garbage- I think it
completely
probably goes to the
seamless.
garbage.
Like you can't even tell it's there. It's
That's actually
really,
really
cool.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably lose a lot of plates and things though. You know, like in your
Or
food.
small tile.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Where's the baby? Oh, I left
Tell
him
my
on the
kids not to
counter.
climb on the counter, and I'm like, maybe I need a trapdoor.
Yeah, some of these are just absolutely amazing looking. I want one so bad. I would have it for every door in our house. Where's
How'd you get out?
how do you get it out of this house? I don't know. Oh, it's here. Pull the book.
The funny thing about that, they're not very secret for long. You would like show everybody your secret stuff in a matter of like minutes.
Check this
Hey
out.
Hey, guys,
want to see the super secret cool room I got built in my house? Oh, I guess it's not a secret anymore. Dang it.
That's funny.
But moving right along from cool things for inside your house to something cool for outside of your house. So there's a company that's created a 3D printed sundial that reads like a digital clock. So it's a weighted bottom with a hinged arm that you set like the spindle of a sundial. And it's got almost a bunch of holes poked in it and depending on what angle the sun it's hitting at, it illuminates through different holes, and they light up in the shape of digital clock numbers. Or I guess not light up, but make the outline of digital clock numbers.
It's actually pretty amazing the way you describe it. At first, I didn't really put that together, but I didn't know the numbers. That's so cool. Although it's only 10 to 4, so it's like in Edmonton when there's like 4 hours of sun in a day.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of the
practicality.
Everybody makes the sundials when everybody has like an iPhone or.
You thought about this? Hey, you're like, I don't know why I like said that.
Yeah, I don't think I. Yeah. Like, can't wait.
If you're one of those Luddite individuals who like to unplug and go out in the backyard when the sun's shining with a book and nothing else, it might be nice. It's something to have.
Yeah, I guess.
You could get used to it.
Mm-hmm. What time is it? I'll just have to run to the backyard and check the sundial for a second here.
But I'm going to go through my secret passageway.
Yeah.
It's what you would call a conversational piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's the only reason why you'd have it. Hey, look at this cool thing I have. Just like the trapdoor or the secret rooms. Look what cool thing I have.
Exactly.
And that's it.
It's probably cheaper than a passageway.
It would be.
Yeah.
So, and now we had cool things for inside your house, something cool for outside your house, now something amazing that you can take with you wherever you go. So there's a company called Smart Ink that has created a pen that will live capture any color and then draw in that color. So it's got a digital scanner and lens on the end of the pen. You hold it up to any object and it will digitally capture that color, and then you can draw in that color. What the what now?
I think this is really fantastic, especially for street artists that want to draw that person in front of them.
Well, I was thinking in terms of like comic book art to be able to capture like, yeah.
We were talking a little earlier about being able to do your cosplay like and draw you essentially with all your colors.
Exactly. Yeah. At a con, they'd be fantastic.
It's totally amazing. Like that one blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like wow. Because what's next? Like maybe we can paint with something like that too. Like it could change art forever.
Well, I believe I feel like they've got an option too where not only does it work on paper, I can't remember. I watched the video a couple of days ago. But I feel like if it doesn't already, the next sort of incarnation is to have an option to be able to hook up to your computer and draw in a program like CAD or Photoshop or something like that. So to capture a color and to download that shade to your computer to be able to render it on the computer.
That's so brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun. That's for sure.
My kids would love it.
I guess there's always the problem though, if you need an orange and like you're looking around the house, well, we don't have any oranges, like to find the color
then
you
you have
need.
to get your traditional.
Oh, then you have to use
marker.
a traditional one. Okay, so yeah, there's that probably slight flaw.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of like creating things. You're out and about and you see just that perfect shade of something. You can go and capture it and sketch it on a, and then you have it. And then once you've drawn it on a little scrap of paper, you always have it. You can rescan it anytime you need it, right? For whatever.
So cool.
I know how expensive my ink is for my printer. I can only imagine how insanely priced this thing would be, especially with it being able to change colors like this.
You would justify it, Dan, because it's cool.
It's true.
Maybe like the pen is free, but the cartridges are a little bit expensive. $400.
Yep. That's where they get you. They always get you with the ink. But no, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure what the pricing is on this one. So yeah, you'd have to. I think the Facebook link probably has more information. The link to their page, Smart Ink. Check it out if you're interested. So yeah, some super cool things in the news today.
A lot of cool little inventions.
It's fun to be a nerd.
It is.
The world is amazing, and people are brilliant. The things they come up with, I'm constantly amazed. This is why I like the news items, because I'm like, how do people even come up with this stuff? Yeah, just
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
Agreed.
But now we get into the good stuff. You
Good
guys.
Oh,
Oh, us?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
you may fire at will, Dan.
Okay, so first off, I have a friend of ours who's not going to be able to make it on our live chat today, but he did ask me earlier if I could ask you guys a couple questions.
Sure.
So the first one he's got, and his name is Marcus, by the way. So Marcus, I know you'll be listening later on. This is your questions. He wants to really know to Wolverine. What is your favorite Wolverine story arc?
There's been a few actually. You know, I it's going to sound weird, but I do like the Old Man Logan one, just because of the violence and the graphicness. And I've always been a big fan of, and she can tell you this, post-apocalyptic sort of scenarios. And it carries a unique arc. It carries a unique, storyline where you're living in the, distant future and the world's destroyed, and he's, sort of
Retired.
pretty much retired, or and now sort of the typical story where I get called of retirement and have to become Wolverine one more time.
Oh.
Yeah.
The newest rumor floating around now that Deadpool has opened the door to R-rated Marvel movies is that the last Wolverine standalone movie will be R-rated, and they'll draw on the Old Man Wolverine storyline.
I think that'd be incredible.
That's the newest rumor floating around.
Yeah, it's
I've never seen that version of Logan where he's just like so violent.
Yeah, if they live it to the comic books, it'll be a very violent, Wolverine, and obviously, like you said, with Deadpool now proving
Opening
that you
the
can
door,
do R-rated, hero type of movies. I mean, there's no better hero to be R-rated than Wolverine. I mean, he's the classic R-rated. I mean, Marvel's top killer. So.
Yeah.
So he's got one more here, and I just kind of wanted to get these out of the way. So he wanted to know what the most significant relationship in Wolverine's life is and why.
Oh, that's an easy one.
So I've always thought it was Jean Grey, but I've been partial to that storyline because it's a unique storyline in the sense that he's involved in a relationship where he's going after somebody else's woman, bluntly, and it's sort of he's not afraid to go after her, and I think it's a very confused relationship. They have a unique love or respect for each other, and then he's forced to sort of deal with the consequences of Jean Grey. She turns to Phoenix, those sort of things.
And he ultimately has to kill the love of his life. Like, that's amazing. Yeah, I'd say.
And tragic.
Tragic. But it's not that he hasn't had his fair share of relationships. I mean, Wolverine has. I mean, every good fighter is a great lover. So, and he has that immortality. So he's kind of, certainly spent his time in and out of relationships. But I think that was the most significant one.
I'm gonna say something that because I feel like most people who know Wolverine would agree that Jean Grey is the most significant relationship in his life. I'm gonna say something that will probably get me booed and hissed at. I'm gonna say I feel like maybe Professor X is a more significant, substantial relationship in his life. Jean Grey is a big deal in his life, but I feel like their relationship, because it's unrequited, is always surface.
Yeah.
The most significant, impactful relationship in his life, discovering who he is, how he became what he is, helping him become who he became, that's all Professor X. I think Professor X is a way more significant relationship in his life than Jean Grey.
So I'm thinking love relationship, but I think you're totally right. Like, he's like a mentor relationship.
Yeah.
I think Professor X was the one that kept him grounded and formed, the balance in his life. Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah, because he would have gone so far off the deep end if it wasn't for Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that kind of sort of grounded him
Mhm.
Well, and even after he lost his even rediscovering who he was and where he came from and how he became, you know, covered in adamantium,
Yeah.
all of that. If it weren't for Professor X,
And
none of that would have happened.
interesting is Professor X did it in a very mature way. Like he didn't like hand it to him on a plate. He sort of let him work through his own issues. He didn't
Yeah.
sort of, well, here, Logan, here's your whole story.
You
And
let
it's-
him come to him too.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
he had to let Logan discover himself and through growth. It was a really, mature mentor thing to do.
Yeah, he definitely let him make his mistakes, right?
Mhm.
He didn't really stop him too much. He would warn him of things that may happen, but he never really,
Mhm.
stopped him from doing what he wanted to do.
I
Yeah,
got a
but
question.
always there, always in the background, always with that sense that if Logan ever did get too close to going off the rails, he would be right there to reel him back in.
I got a question for you guys, actually. Sorry,
Sure.
back to your stuff. Do you think Hugh Jackman can be replaced as Wolverine?
No.
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 No way.
Or was it?
I feel like if they're gonna do it, they need to look for a complete unknown.
That's true.
Because at this point, if they go with anybody who's already known,
Mhm.
You would have
I
to.
feel like it's gonna be the situation of even if you make your own version of it, like Jared Leto's Joker versus Heath Ledger's Joker, it's always gonna be that, right? So I feel like if they're gonna have any way of doing it remotely successfully, it has to be somebody completely unknown who can then sort of pick up the mantle and imbue it with what Hugh Jackman has sort of breathed into that character.
Or a totally different age where it's like there's the, Apocalypse coming out and they're all younger versions of themselves and that's totally doable. Like everybody thought Jean Grey was Famke Janssen, but then no, there's this younger actress. Maybe they could do like a young Wolverine.
They really couldn't do a young
No, 'cause
Wolverine
he
because
doesn't have adamantium.
he's super old.
He's old, yeah.
Yeah, he's
plus
like.
he wouldn't have adamantium.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because he was born in like
1800s.
1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. They will replace him.
I think they have to give it a time cycle. You can't just suddenly say 2 years from now we're going to do it because the public is in love with the actor and the character, and you sort of have to put him on a hiatus for a bit and eventually bring him out maybe if you're going to do it. But the one thing about Marvel is they have so many characters at their arsenal. Like they have so many characters at the table right now. So it's just a rich environment to just develop other characters.
True.
Well, and there's so many minor characters in the canon that still have incredible storylines that remain at this point virtually untapped. So it's like there's no shortage for good source material to go to, and I think that for me would be a more interesting way to start going with it, is to go back to some of the more minor characters that have sort of more interesting storylines.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a smart move, and definitely a fresh start too on a lot of things.
And now Geek is just so popular that they could make thousands of movies and people would go to see them.
Okay, so we'll sort of switch gears here a little bit. I want to actually get to know you guys a little bit more. How long have you been doing the Wolverine and Jean?
Since
you
started.
You do mostly what's it called?
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Sorry.
Yeah, I have a lot. But we both started at the same con. We both started in Calgary in 2014, right? Yeah, and then it just came together in both of our lives that we'd never dressed up before at a con, and then we didn't know each other then, but it's kind of interesting. We started at the same con, and now it's such a huge part of our lives.
Yeah, it's funny. My life, like I always say, I'm a late starter geek because I would have been probably somebody that would have taken your lunch money in another part of my life, like all the geeks and nerds, and now I've basically been,
converted. You found
I've been
light.
converted. I found, Wolverine was kind of done on a bit of a dare and a bunch of other things going on in my life, and I tried the character out, in Calgary, and it was a huge success, and it just sort of blew everything off the charts. And I actually, found the cosplayers of the geek world. They were an amazing group of people, and they were so open and honest and happy. And I thought, like, who are these guys? These guys are really nice, like, And
where have you been all my life?
Yeah, where have you been all my life? And I accepted the culture, and I went, after that, it was like no turning back. You just, once you've been hooked, and you see the fun you guys are all having, and all the enjoyment, and through cosplay and through everything, and then I just stuck it out, and sky was the limit after that. So.
So how many conventions now do you go to? How many times do you dress up during the year?
So much.
Yeah.
But this year, so we're probably only hitting, like, we did Edmonton, obviously, and we're doing Calgary, and there's a St. Albert one. We're going to go to San Diego this year.
And Animathons.
And Animathons.
Mm-hmm.
So we find an excuse to dress up, like, every weekend.
We volunteer a lot with charity work, and we do a lot of charity work through our costumes. They're well-known characters, and kids can identify with that, especially when you go to hospitals or schools or whatever we sort of work on. So we have a team we work with, other heroes, but we always have high identifiable characters. And those, they allow us to dress up pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys do part of the C3 is what it's called?
Not anymore.
We broke away. C3 kind of separated, and we have our own organization now.
Okay.
And still with a lot of the C3 members and stuff, just a different vision, but we still do a lot of the volunteer. And but yeah, we end up. That's kind of our major focus and why we dress up, and it's why I wear Wolverine all the time, because it's sort of a conversation piece when people say, "Hey, how come what's with the hair?" And it allows you to sort of bridge into, "Hey, well, this is why I do it."
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to dress up and volunteer. It really makes it feel worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not just geeking out for your own pleasure, you're helping other people. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of things do you volunteer for?
Yeah, what are some of the usual stops on your circuit? Where do you stop in and brighten children's days?
Well, we always have a thing. If you can find an event or something, we'll do it. Like, we've got an autism run coming up here in a couple months. We've done.
I think we have that up on our calendar.
We've done stollery work. We've done Ronald McDonald House. Schools will call us. Pretty much like anything. We'll sort of look at what we get, see if we can fit it into our characters. And just kind of go from there. And we sort of look at the person we're working with and say, here's what we bring to the table. Is it a good fit? Yeah. And if you can find something for us to come, generally we'll come.
Well, Wolverine's always worried that he might not be child-friendly enough for the kids. Like, the kids kind of stare at him from a distance, and then when they come up, like, you're so caring.
It's actually amazing. Sometimes you get the odd kid that's like 4 or 5 years old, and they know the whole Wolverine story arc, and I'm kind of going like, wow, cool parents. I like you guys.
So true.
Yeah.
I believe in one of our videos during I think it was Happy Harbor. You came up behind Nehemiah, our kid here, that was on the screen.
I think that was Free Comic Book Day.
That was Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you startled him, and that made it into one of our videos.
Oh.
And then he cried.
No, he was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty. He's always excited to see all the different cosplayers out there.
You're raising them right, for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that's like I said, we were. It was funny. We went to Mexico at Christmas on a vacation. I wore the Wolverine. Right from it, and as soon as we got off the plane, it's everybody Logan, Wolverine. Like, I mean,
it was crazy.
It was crazy. Like,
it was like a Comic-Con, like on.
Yeah.
Like so many higher levels.
And
everybody was stopping.
It's funny to dress in character and go out in civilian life, like not at a con, and see how far you can test the character. Like does the civilian population recognize you, and can you duplicate, the actor? And because at a con you expect it, but on a plane you expect it, or an airport or whatever. So that's kind of different. A lot of fun.
Yeah, and it only takes him like 5 minutes to do his hair.
Yeah, it used to take me like half an hour, but I've got it down to a science now. So
I should start doing Wolverine hair.
Yeah.
Going on here.
Yeah. And couples cosplay to share bathrooms together is probably the worst thing. Like,
it's just like a cloud of hairspray.
Yeah.
Trying to do my makeup, and it's like plastering on my face with hairspray.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, we're gonna be like a 2-bathroom house for sure.
So yeah. So anyway, going back to your original question, it's we're sort of short term. We've only been in it 2 years, but in that time, I think we've got a lot of mileage out of it. Like we cosplay pretty extensively around the year. Like I think every week we're dressing up for something. It's just kind of who we are and enjoy it. So really no breaks.
All right, I've got a hypothetical for you. So Wolverine is your character, your go-to because it's so identifiable and you do it so incredibly well. But notwithstanding logistics of costume pieces, etc., is there another character that you would just love to cosplay or build or... This is for, I guess, both of you. Well, you too.
You know what? Like, it's going to sound amazing, and we actually have this conversation all the time. We always do the hypotheticals. And you know what? Wolverine is who I am. It's actually like part of, like, she will tell you that his personality, like the aggressiveness and the sarcasm and the comments, is exactly like who I exactly like who I am. Like nothing changes.
Yeah.
So it's.
But I think he could do. It sounds really boring, but I think he would look really cool doing like a Fox Mulder thing with like an FBI badge. He could be like a Wolverine Fox Mulder. And I know it wouldn't get him the same mileage, or probably get him the same mileage, but like I'm a big X-Files fan, and I'm like, we could do Scully and Mulder.
We actually did a photo shoot like 2 weekends ago. We did her as Jean Grey and me as Wolverine as the X-Files. It was called X-Men Files, but it hasn't been released yet.
Nice.
So, and we went out and did the whole set and everything like that as a tribute because she's a huge X-Men fan, or sorry, X-Files fan
and
X-Men fan. So we just did it as that as a video shoot. So
just anything with an X in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
yeah, my ultimate cosplay, like I'm just trying to do all the ultimate ones, but I'm trying to do a Wonder Woman. I've kind of just started it, but I want it to be really epic. Like I want it to be battle ready. I want to have really cool armor and I really like the new Wonder Woman's look who's coming out in the Batman versus Superman. And I'm like, I would really like to do that. We'll see. That might be a new project. Yeah.
Okay, so without any spoilers, have you watched the new X-Files then?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course. I have the hugest X-File fan in the history here.
I actually cried when Mulder came on the screen for the first time in the first episode. It was really, really special. We actually haven't finished it yet though, which is horrible.
Oh.
I know, because we don't have.
We have them taped, but we haven't finished watching.
So yeah, no spoilers are allowed.
Yeah.
No.
But we watched the first. We got through the first 3. So.
I think about it every day.
But
I want to watch it. Yeah.
I really did. I think it was the 3rd episode in. I think I really liked that one. That was a pretty good one.
Oh, so good.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that was the funny one, right?
It'd be hard to say it without spoiling it, though.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. If you haven't watched the X-Files, the new series, I highly recommend it. Even the way it plays out the whole way through, really enjoyable.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Right after this, go watch it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's just I'm obsessive. I just think about it literally every day. So I'm like, okay.
I think it's because the story arcs are so incredibly involved, and everybody has their own theories on things, and it's just it's very well written. The characters are so evolved as well. Just amazing, amazing series.
Awesome. So, what's your plans for the next little while? Like, where are you guys going to be? What's your next big con here?
Next big con is probably Calgary.
Yeah, there's nothing sort of on the horizon.
But San Diego is huge for us this year. It's going to be our first time.
We have a friend who lives there. He's San Diego Magneto, and he is. I actually used to live in Alberta, but he's an attorney now in San Diego, and he has an X-Men group that he works with down in San Diego. So he invited us to go down and be part of his X-Men team for the con. So
nice.
It's the mecca of cosplay, and at least we'll represent. Wolverine's Albertan. He's got to show up there.
Yeah. So
then I guess I've got a question, and this will probably change for you after going down to San Diego. But in all the cons and all the cosplay that you've done so far in your couple of years, what are some of the coolest or your favorites or ones that kind of left you going, wow, that you've seen other cosplayers do?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm a big fan of some of the, and we know this from the community because we're with an incredibly unique group of people and we all sort of socialize. Some of the armor builds out there that people meticulously, craft, like the Metal Gear or even Iron Man or people that have put the work into the heavy crafting, but they also have the LED and the special effects, like
So
like
cool.
Tony Stark with the repulsor technology and things like that where you look at and it's not. I look at cosplay totally different. I look at it from the actual crafting of it, but also the characters to be able to act it out. I don't want to just be sold on the costume. I want to be sold on when you bring that character to life. Like, be Tony Stark. Iron Man wasn't the costume. Iron Man was Robert Downey Jr. And when you combine the two, that was Iron Man. And that's what I look at for cosplay.
That's why the costume contests are so cool. Whenever I've gone to a con and seen epic costumes, I always can't wait to go to the costume contest to see all my favorites on stage and see if they do like a little act. And most of the time they do. Sometimes they just walk out there, but sometimes they're really hard to walk in, so it's hard to do an act. Yeah, I love all the costume contests so much.
The costume contests are just amazing to go and witness. You say you're quite involved with a lot of the community. How do you feel about the community that's in Edmonton? Like, do you think it's growing, or do you think it's pretty big, or is it just a good community? What's your thoughts, just generally?
It's a pretty substantial community. In fact, Edmonton sort of hosts, believe it or not, other communities. We have people from, in our groups from Winnipeg and from Calgary, and it became just through key people a good leadership hub. But that being said, it's still sort of split in various ways. We have the Animathon people, and they sort of hang out by themselves, and we have kind of what we'd call the Marvel DC people that would sort of still be their own little clique. I mean, and we do come together for major photo shoots or events, but you're still sort of involved in probably your own little group.
Your own particular niche.
Yeah, because I think it's easier when you talk, geek talk. That if we're comparing, like if I want to discuss Wolverine or Marvel, I kind of hang out with the people that sort of play those people because we have a passion for it, and somebody that maybe does anime characters wouldn't share the same passion. So you still sort of splinter off into your own little sects.
Yeah.
Even though I have respect for everybody.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
But we have an incredible community. It's probably one of the most active, growing all the time. We have crafting workshops. I mean, even through groups like Theater Garage and a bunch of other people putting them on. We host a lot of crafting. We share information.
Photo shoots like every month.
Yeah, photo shoots. We trade information. Like if somebody wants something, how do you build this? We'll post that. If there's a sale on clothing or fabric, it's immediately out there. We support each other. Like we can walk into any geek store, in town, and be recognized and embraced.
And that just happened on Saturday. We went to a new geek store, then we were just browsing on our own, and we ran into 4 people we knew, and I thought, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know any of these people until I cosplayed,
yeah.
And now I've got all these nice friends and all these fellow geeks that I can share my passion with.
Yeah, and most of our friends have grown exponentially in terms of the cosplayer geek world, right? Because we share the same currency, and which is being able to embrace geek culture, which is really nice. And you develop obviously you hang out with people that share the same interests, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things that just even from me doing this channel, being a part of the community as well, is that it is very inclusive, and not only that, there's so many people in it that, and you see it's growing, and it's just an amazing community out there. It's just, I'd love to see it grow more.
And like you were talking about a little bit earlier with sort of the little micro niches within the bigger umbrella, there really is something for everybody, which
So
is
true.
Yeah.
what I love. You know, whatever your specific nerd passion might be, you can bet your butt there's probably a group in the city for it.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you'll find whatever it is. I mean, whether you're Doctor Who or you're into My Little Pony, even, or I mean, Star Trek, or obviously Star Wars, and some of the more mainline ones. But you'll find your groups, and you'll find the people to get together and share your passion. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so I have another question that came through, and it is from Marcus, and he says, any really weird, funny cosplay experiences you are willing to share?
I don't know.
Weird cosplay experiences.
Awkward, funny,
We've had awkward things.
memorable.
I'm actually thinking about recently we went to a convention, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want to get any in trouble. But I was really worried about, because he brought his claws. But they aren't usually like allowed. Sometimes it's kind of a big deal. But then people at certain cons know who he is, and they're just like, go through. But it was a con we don't go to. And so I was like, they're never going to let those in. And so he's like, well, I might just walk in. And I'm like, you're not going to do that. So we go to the prop check, and then he puts down his claws, and he's like, I'm here at the prop check. She's just doing her makeup in the mirror, and she's like, go ahead. And then he just walks in. I'm like, all these other people have been prop checked like so hard, and he just gets to carry these like blades in. I'm like, that was awesome. That was a good Wolverine moment. Like, wow. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
We've had actually a couple interesting. I've ran into, and we've done this a few times. Don Iveson, our mayor, and Mayor Neshi in Calgary, and they know who we are. We've done photos with them, which is pretty nice. It's nice that we have two mayors who are in Alberta that are geeks and huge geeks. And we were going for a walk actually in the summer, and we actually ran into Mayor Iveson and Mayor Neshi actually at the Ledge grounds, and they were just sort of chatting, and we approached them, and they recognized us, and we had a good chat about an upcoming expo, and it was funny, the four of us just kind of talking geek talk, which was kind of neat actually, like just.
But that was such a Dale moment, or Wolverine, I should say, moment too, where it's like, where I see them and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, and he just walks up. He's like, hey guys, it's Canada Wolverine. Like, wow.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Like,
well, when you look like Wolverine all the time.
Yeah, I tend to get it. I did have an interesting comment. It was I think it was the Edmonton Expo, and there was a member of one of the Lord of the Rings cast. I can't remember who it was, and he pulled me aside and he said, hey, I just want to say something to you. And I said, what? And he says, I'm a good friend of Hugh Jackman's, and he says he'd be proud to know that you're doing a really good job with Wolverine. And he says he's a good friend of mine, and he says he'd love this. And he just kind of gave me a good pat, and it was nice. It was a nice moment, yeah. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. So
that's pretty awesome.
All these heart-touching stories.
Yeah.
We can't think of any weird ones.
We've had, like I said, a lot of our touching stories are kind of, like I said, sort of more personal related. Some of the hospital visits we've done, or some of the people we've worked with, and you kind of come out of there and you sort of you don't know if you've reached anybody. Actually, should I share the Danny Whittle one?
It's up to you.
Okay, I had an interesting story. Constable Woodall, who was shot in the line of duty here last year. I knew Danny from before, actually, and I had an opportunity to attend his funeral, and I was sort of debating whether to wear the Wolverine hair or not. I kind of ended up wearing the Wolverine hair, went to the service, and wasn't sure how well received it was. About 2 weeks later, I got an email from Danny's brother-in-law from Great Britain, and he really thanked me for wearing the Wolverine hair, and he said it meant a lot for his family to actually do that. Cool. And it was really, really touching email. It was really personal, and kind of brings tears to my eyes now thinking about it. Aww. But showed it to Jen, and it was really, really cool to have that type of email. And that was one of those things where it's like, wow, made the right choice. So
that was cool. That's a good one. I can't top that.
That is a good one.
I got nothing. I had something, but I'm not going to say it now because I can't follow that. So.
All right, so we'll just skip on. Every so often, there comes this talk of a statue to be built in Edmonton here. What are your thoughts? And obviously, it's going to be positive to go for it, but I want to know why from you. Why should it happen?
Well,
Edmonton. Well, Alberta is the birthplace of the Wolverine, right? I mean, this has to happen.
I think a couple of things. I think because right now the world or the population is ripe for geek attributes. I mean, we're looking at things to sort of showcase our culture, and geek art is phenomenal right now.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, it sort of brings recognition to the city in terms of, look, this is obviously it's a fictional character, but it's what Wolverine represents. You know,
He's a fighter.
Wolverine is an endurer. He overcomes. He adapts. He's a survivalist. I mean, he is Albertan. You know, regardless of what you are, I mean, this is sort of what we are. And Wolverine is it's not the statue, it's the symbol that he represents. And look, that's who we are. You know, we can take a beating, we can come back, we can endure anything, we can survive. We have longevity. You know,
that's really
we're
cool.
a little rough around the edges, some of us, but at the end of the day, you know what? We are like Wolverine.
Well said.
Hear, hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good sell. Okay, we'll cut that out and send it to Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And he's a geek, so he'd be down if this is the time. We've got Iverson. So.
Yeah.
Well, yes, and Iverson does even support things like lightsaber training that happens down in Churchill Square.
I know, that's so cool. I want to bring my son to that.
It is. We go every year, and it is a ton of fun. And even Chelsea was instructor there for a little while.
For a little bit, yeah. I subbed for Janine for a little bit, but Janine is the usual instructor who teaches the adults, and Mackie is the instructor who teaches the kids, and they are both amazing, but I do fight stuff with both of them. So last summer, the summer before, there were a couple of classes that Janine was away doing other gigs, and so I filled in for her, which was super fun.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Huh. Well, maybe I'll get some private lessons from you. Might be hard. You're kind of far away.
I'm far away now. Yeah.
She wants to cosplay a Sith at some point. So.
Yeah, I know. But I always want to do these evil characters, but I'm not. I smile a lot, and I should probably just pick a Jedi.
And then she wanted a purple lightsaber, and realized that Sith don't have purple lightsabers. So.
I know. Maybe there was all these rules.
You'd have to fight Samuel L. Jackson for it. He's the only one who's got a purple lightsaber.
See, somebody has one, so this can happen for me.
And he'd be like, nobody's going to take my lightsaber.
Well, he does die, so I mean,
Yeah.
It's
his
mine
lightsaber's up to grabs, right? So.
Yeah.
Trina's right now. She's been working pretty hard on her cosplay for Edmonton. I can't really say what it is because, but yes, she is working really hard.
I didn't know she was going in costume.
She's going in costume. She's going in costume with a couple of other cosplayers. Sam is another friend of our network.
Nice.
She will be doing a group costume with I think a couple of girls.
Oh, that's
Oh
awesome.
man, that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see those pictures.
I cannot wait to see this cosplay. This is going to be good.
Cool.
Welcome to the cosplay world.
I know. She'll be one of us.
Once you're in, you can never leave.
Trina's done a few things. She's done the flight suit before.
She's done
Rebel
Red
flight
Leader.
Ooh.
She's done that. And she's done a few other ones here and there. But yeah, it's I cannot wait to see what she does because she's actually making this one, so she's actually pretty excited about it. And I'm
I think we
excited to see it.
disappeared. Can you guys see us?
Yeah, you guys.
back.
All that happens was you guys just have a picture of yourselves.
Well, at least we put that picture up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. You're both in cosplay in
That's
that
our
picture.
costume
Yeah.
now. Nothing changed on my end, but she's definitely
Now I can
changed.
just like run around and do whatever I want. Nobody can see me. I don't know why that happened, but it did.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, hello.
We were actually serious about running around.
Good thing I didn't take anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so do we have any more questions, Chelsea?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's been awesome to have you guys on and chat and hear about your cosplay journey, and yeah,
Thank you.
it's always
really
super
enjoyed
fun
it.
to
Really
meet
enjoyed it.
people.
A lot of fun.
So now, if our wonderful listeners and viewers want to find out where they can see you, where can they find you on the web or find out where you're going to be putting in appearances?
Well, we both have Instagram. He's Canada Wolverine, and I'm VedaCosplay, VEDA cosplay. And then I also have a Facebook page, my VedaCosplay Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll be at EEK, and we'll be at Calgary, and we'll be in
Do
San
you
Diego.
guys tweet or?
We tweet.
Yeah, we tweet. Yeah, Canada Wolverine's always my handle, so
Yeah.
you know, anyone
It's
else.
pretty easy to find.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
easy to find. Yeah.
Yeah, and VedaCosplay is always mine.
Mhm.
He's getting me into Twitter. He's like the tech guru.
I
here.
tweet for her.
And I'm like, oh, thanks. So then I retweet it. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
And then they can easily find you at pretty much any con in this area.
Yeah, pretty much any con.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
so-
hair doesn't even fit in the screen right now.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. It's been too long. It's coming now. Like I went for the more comic booky hair. So
It's awesome.
it's a little too. Yeah, it doesn't even fit when I'm driving now. That's.
I opened the sunroof the other day, and he was like, nobody does that in this car. Yeah.
But yeah, you can find us there. So yeah, anybody wants to look for us, or if they have a charity event that they want us to do, or an appearance or anything like that, just let us know. And chances are, if we can fit in, we'll definitely be there.
Awesome.
Claws and all.
Now, how about us, Dan? What events do we have coming up to look forward to? If people go to our lovely website, what'll be on the calendar?
Well, for our event calendar, we have Gobfest that is happening in the next little while. That is the board game convention that's happening in April, on April 9th. Registration for that is open right now, so go and check that out. But yes, we got yes. But we do have lots of different events. I just plugged in. I don't know, just tons of things that are going on right now. So go and check that out. Go to northernnerdnetwork.com and you guys will find all that information there on our amazing and wonderful event calendar. And I have to really just say a big shout out to Edmonton Nerd List, Kelly from there. He is tremendous at sending us tons of events. And
he is an inexhaustible font of knowledge. The number of messages we get from him in a day is amazing. Kelly, you work too hard. Thank you so much. You fill our calendar with all kinds of awesome.
Yes.
Aww.
Yes, and yeah, there's just so much going on, so go and check all that out.
So aside from our awesome website and our excellent event calendar, where else can our lovely listeners and viewers find us on the web, Daniel?
You guys can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page at facebook.com/northernnerd, on Twitter at northern_network, and on YouTube, where you will find all our videos. Please subscribe to us by hitting that subscribe button. And that is youtube.com/northernNerdNetwork, and obviously our webpage, which is northernNerdNetwork.com. So that is it. That is all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching this, or listening, I guess, to this edition of the Nerdcast, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye!
Okay.
Close us out there, Dan.